It's a pleasure to be here, and I think it's really more than a pleasure. It's an honor for a guy my age to be able to talk to you young people. You have no idea how pretty you are, sitting there in the bloom of youth, ambition, fullness of your creativity and imaginations. And I'm going to try my best to feed that today and hopefully make you glad you came. Particularly pleased to see from the seating arrangement that we're talking to a church-going crowd. I think that's appropriate for a seminar on holistic medicine and stuff. My story is perhaps a bit unusual. I was always a high achiever, and I was pleased when I set the record for the largest kidney tumor ever cut from an American at the time, back in '93. Weighed 20 pounds, and I held that for some years till a friend of mine, Dr. Chris Wood down at MD Anderson, called me one day and said, "Jerry, I'm sorry, but I'm the bearer of bad news. We just cut one who weighed 32 pounds out of this 82-year-old woman." I know that it's going to be hard for you to take, but you just got to bear with it and remember that records are made to be broken. I always try to laugh at these things. I've got the notes put aside. One of these days, when I'm resting, I hope to finish my book on laughing your way through cancer, because I think that anytime you get anything to the point where you can laugh at it, you've got the upper hand on it. And it's said, he who can laugh at himself will never cease to be amused. And I believe that. Let's march through these slides then. I think Susan has probably hit on that as much as need be. The green glow there is copper in the fourth state, or plasma state of matter. There are four fundamental states of matter. The familiar three are solid, liquid, and gas, and then there's plasma. My field of endeavor had to do with inventions surrounding ways to make metal plasmas and cause them to change surfaces to do very unusual things. It all was everywhere we went. We flied in the face of conventional logic, and I was thrown out of more parking lots with more dogs sick on me than you can possibly imagine. But one by one, all these things finally took hold. Okay, my journey. This is it's amazing how on one sheet of paper you can put so much pathos and human experience. The diagnosis, almost 18 years ago to the day. I remember that my surgery was on the 20th. My Thanksgiving was on the 22nd, and my birthday was the 24th. That was the day that Leon Lett dropped the fumble in the Miami game. Everybody remembers that. They don't remember it because I was up there suffering. CT scan, cancer-free, 1994. Talk about euphoria. Oh, was I ever happy. I said, "We got it all." Those were wonderful words to hear. I was later to learn that what the guy meant was, I got it all I could see. I didn't deliberately leave something in there to kill you. Then the bad news starts coming back, and lo and behold, they never recur in the renal bed, but it did, and I was that statistical one, I guess. Then in '96, we were losing the battle, or actually '95 the end started with metastatic growth. Renal cell cancer is noted for being a blood-borne killer. It metastasizes to distant organs, and there's just no treatment for it. There's still not. But I decided that after 8 months of failed interleukin treatment, which is like, if you can imagine the worst case of flu you ever had in your life, lasting for 8 solid months, then you'll see why I decided that there had to be a better way. As I told the guy, if this is what you call living, then one of us doesn't know what living is, and I'm tired of this. But I got on this program 3 months after I told the doc I'm going off treatment, and he said, looked sadly and says, "Yes, Mr. White, we understand." And I paid a guy over here at UT Southwest $400 for 20 minutes of his time to tell me that I should not get up any false hope, that might as well be realistic and face things, and it was time to start buying the cemetery lots. And I just thought, well, I just wonder if he wouldn't lie about other things too. And that got me through that. And 3 months later, I came bounding back. The guy put the films up and said, I'll be a so-and-so. I don't know where they went, but they ain't there no more. Took 3 months to kill them out with the guided imagery. You know, that would be a happy story except for one thing. That doctor never once asked me what I did in that intervening 3 months to cause this miraculous thing to take place, nor did he have the time for me to tell him. Now, you hear about all the scientific effort going into this cancer business. Where is the scientific curiosity? All of my many, many miracle patients tell the same story. Nobody wants to listen to them. Nobody wants to know how come they are still alive. When you do stuff like that, you get put on things like board of directors of national organizations, especially if they know you're from Texas and think you got money. And I spent 3 years there. Finally ended up writing the 3 months to life, and over these intervening years, I have maintained a personal mentoring program, my own initiative, my own expense, where I have mentored hundreds of cancer patients all over the world to remission. It was no less a person than Mehmet Oz, who I met when Columbia had their complementary care center going, Columbia Presbyterian. That was before television found him and ruined a good heart surgeon. But he said, Jerry, I don't understand why somebody hasn't got you strapped to a gurney trying to figure out why you lived. He said, the big question we got here is not how all these people die. We know that. It's why do people like you, for no explainable reason, go into remission. That if you would develop that theme and understand it, then if we understand the mechanism, then we'll know how to induce it. And it'll be that simple. So that's my story in a nutshell. We can run through some of what comes with it. This is pretty well an outline of what I've just gone through. But I discovered the need to engage in this. You have to set yourself apart from all you're hearing from people, and I don't mean that you should disregard or disrespect your doctors. Certainly not. Only a fool would set himself apart from modern medicine. But you have to think for yourself, and it has to be reasonable to you. We will get through that. The healing journey to survival. Well, there's some elements along the way that I think are worth pointing out, and I'd like to share some of these with you, and I'd like to sort of, if nothing else, just lay them down as points on the way of how to do this. I think we can all agree it'd be wonderful if you could cure your own cancer and all these things work, but how do you do it? How does it work? And the thing that every innovator in the history of civilization has run up against from the establishment is, if this is so good, why isn't everybody doing it? Now that sounds so perfectly logical, but just bear in mind, this has been said of everybody that ever invented anything. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been an invention, would it? The program here is one that my friend Paul Haight and I put on at the University of Chicago. It was very well attended. After I left the board of directors, I spent a year as a nominal kidney cancer patient mentor for the University of Chicago. And my friend Nick Vogelsang, who's met on the board of KCA, was kind enough to edit the immune section of this book to make sure it was medically accurate. And it's just amazing why I go to an audience of cancer patients and talk, and I ask for a show of hands, who all has heard of a macrophage or an NK cell or a neutrophil, T cells? Nobody. Yet I just named an arsenal of killers that's in your body from birth that can kill any cancer cell that was ever found. Why people don't know or aren't informed of this, I have no idea. I think that those who don't take charge of their healing program will see somebody else taking charge of it, and they probably won't like the outcome. And when I say being in charge, I mean the one who calls the shots. Do like you do in your college courses. You listen to the lecture. You check the references. Read the notes. Make up your mind what you want to do. With any cancer, there's several forks in every road. There is no one way.